Hello, my name is Nathaniel Ayoub, and I'm going to discuss why memorization-based learning is ruining our youth. School has been around for a very long time. The very first public school introduced in the US was located in Boston, Massachusetts, in April 23rd, 1635. That was almost 4 centuries ago. And over that course of 385 years, our school curriculum has improved in numerous ways. The ratio between students and teachers have improved significantly. Our campuses have never looked better. And the material needed for students to learn has become more readily available. However, there is one main problem that has permeated throughout these 4 centuries and has been left unchanged. And that is the philosophy behind our teaching and how schools go about teaching their students. As a student myself, my lifestyle revolves around my education. So, education is a very large part of my life, and so is it for all other students. Meaning, if there is a problem revolving around our school curriculum, we are obligated as students to help find a solution and incorporate it into our schooling. So, what are the problems with memorization-based learning, and what can we do as students to help fix it? That's the dilemma I'm going to be discussing with you all today. Many school curriculums, especially the ones based in the US, Asia, and the Middle East, have way too much memorization as part of their learning process. And because of this, students are forced into a very repetitive studying routine. When students are forced to memorize a long list of terms, definitions, dates, concepts, etc., the learning process in itself becomes so unbearably repetitive that students lose their motivation and focus to study. Additionally, students will have problems with their learning, and they won't be able to connect the information that they learn to the real world. This brings along with it a whole other myriad of problems. Students won't be able to connect the information that they learn with the real world, and that causes them to not have a deeper understanding of the concept. In addition to this, students won't be able to incorporate the knowledge that they learn into their social skills because they're only learning the information theoretically and not realistically. Now that I have mentioned the details on the disadvantages of memorization-based learning, I'm going to explain each one of them and list the source. So, why is it that students lose their motivation and their focus when they study? Well, students, when they're forced to memorize a long list of terms, they will eventually lose their motivation and focus once they finish their first subject. And if they power through with their other subjects, their motivation and focus will be continuously decreasing as they go. Now, a problem with this is that students won't be able to properly learn for their tests, they won't be able to properly retain the information, and thus their grades will diminish. So, what is the solution to all of this? What is the solution to memorization-based learning, and what can we do as students to help fix this problem? Well, there's a new concept that many European countries have been adapting. And this concept is called meaningful learning. And in many countries, such as Switzerland, they have developed curriculums based on this learning process. For example, the International Baccalaureate system, first introduced in Switzerland. This was created and based off of the meaningful learning system. And in Finland's case, once they switched over their curriculum and started focusing on meaningful learning, the students' morale went up, and they now have the highest average GPAs in the world. So, meaningful learning, what is it? Well, as Oxford University says, meaningful learning is meant to be meaningful to students. Meaningful learning discourages excessive memorization and encourages the use of analyzing, using, and incorporating the skills that you learn at school and linking the knowledge that you learn to your daily life. So what problems of memorization-based learning are solved through the use of meaningful learning? All of them. You will not lose your focus. You will not lose your motivation to study because learning is now fun. You will look forward to every new lesson because there are new concepts to uncover, analyze, and apply to your own life. And on top of that, you will not have any problems having misconceptions of the concept at hand because you'd be linking the information that you learn with your own life. And when you do that, you are learning the information both theoretically and realistically. Thank you all for listening to my speech.